Hello, everybody. I am Burlington Mayor Marianne Mead Ward, and welcome to another edition of Burlington Matters, where we showcase all the wonderful people and wonderful things that are happening in our community. And for the past year, we have been on a citywide journey. We've touched down on every single one of the wards, checked in with the ward councillors, and talked about individual groups in different parts of our city that are doing amazing things at a real neighborhood level. We called it our community series. And for our last show of 2021, I can't believe I'm saying that already, we wanted to do a group that has a citywide focus to kind of cap out the tour of the neighborhood. So I am super thrilled to have Renee Schuster here from the Burlington Dads group. And I'm also thrilled to have Chantal Driscoll here from the Burlington Moms group. So we're going to talk about how those groups work together, and if you're interested in starting one of your own, how you might be able to do it. But it's been around for a long time. I think both groups have been around for a number of years. So we're going to start right there with you, Renee. When and how did Burlington Dads get started? It looks like you're flying the flag there in many ways with your BD shirt on in Pride colors. Awesome.
My Burlington strong, proud shirt on here. So
love it. It's awesome. Go ahead.
It's from one of the support initiatives we did in the summer. But I started the group in 2013, so about 8 years ago. And originally it was just like a group of 5 of us. And it was sort of a neighborhood thing to, help dads, like, okay, you need a saw, you need this, you need that, or, oh my God, my kid has a temperature or something. Because, the mantra was that, the moms always sort of took care of that and asked their questions on the moms groups, and dads never really had that sort of support network. So that's how I started the group. And from there, we just grew and grew and grew. And it became more of, instead of just, helping each other, which is a huge part of our group, we expanded a bit and thought, let's help our community and help other people in the community. And it went from there. It just grew its own wings. And we have great people on board, great group of admins, and they've helped us along the way, and with all our support initiatives, and helping each other too.
And your group is how many dads? It's through Facebook, right?
So it's through Facebook. That's where the main page is. We do have a website too, burlingtondads.com, that anyone can take a look at. It's sort of under construction right now, so it's a little bit of a mess, but we'll get that better. We have about 5,000 members now, and each member is in Burlington. And that's really the only two sort of caveats of being a part of the actual Facebook group is your dad, you're in Burlington, you're a good person, you're in. But the public can also see our group and everything we do at burlingtondads.com. And then we also have a page that they can go to. It's not a group, it's actually a page.
That's great. Awesome. We'll get those links up for people as well. So over to you, Chantal. Tell us a little bit about, you founded the Burlington Moms page. What's it all about, and what was the impetus?
So Burlington Moms came about differently than Burlington Dads. We started about December 2019, and started kind of as like a friendly competition a bit. So I was looking over my partner's shoulder one day, and he was part of this Burlington Dads group. And it was very entertaining, the things that were posted in there, the things that they were doing as a group. It was inspiring. So I thought, if they can have a Burlington Dads group run like this, I surely could open a Burlington Moms group, ladies only, and kind of compete with them a little bit and collaborate with some community initiatives as well. Like I said, there are already several other mom groups and support groups out there, but I was looking for something a little bit different, kind of staying away from buying and selling groups into more of a supportive network.
That's great. So you've been going since 2019, which is very recent. So almost right before the pandemic. So how has that affected what you've been working on?
So we didn't initially grow the group with members till, like, we grew a lot more through the pandemic. I think we're sitting at about 3,500 members now. And we haven't actually come together with any community initiatives as of yet. I have several other women who are admins in the group as well. But that is something that we're planning now that we're coming out of the COVID lockdowns, hopefully, and moving forward into some more community events together.
That's great. And I know the Burlington Dads have done a lot of community initiatives. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Renee, to walk us through what was the very first thing you did, and maybe the most recent thing. What are you working on today? Go ahead.
So, it's sort of, when we started doing things for the community and, doing the fundraisers and everything, unfortunately, it started with one of our fellow dads was tragically killed in a motorcycle accident. So, we knew that his family needed some help, and his kids and wife. So we put together a fundraiser at just a local establishment. And when we did that, we had no idea how many people would show up. There was people, lined up at the door and whatnot. We raised over $10,000 just on that one first little. And that sort of made us realize that, hey, we could get bigger here. We could do more. And there's so many people in our community. Burlington, it's a little bit of a special community in that way that I've never seen it, that so many people are willing to come out and support good causes and raise money for good causes. And it's such a giving community. And all you have to do is, build it and they will come, sort of thing. So you plan these things out, put the good word out there, and people are always willing to help. And from there, it went to Christmas fundraisers and a whole bunch of other initiatives like that too.
Well, I know the Burlington Moms, even before they were an official group in 2019, have been a key support to the Burlington Dads and getting some of these off the ground. Whenever I go to one of the events that you guys host, it's everybody, moms and dads and kids and partners and all of that. So it truly is a community effort, and it's great to see people, because you don't always get that in larger cities. I've lived in larger cities before, and you don't get that sense of community that we have here, which is really unique and special. And so, it's so incredible to hear that the very first thing that you did, $10,000 in one night, such an incredible achievement, and you haven't looked back since then. Really, it's been growing and growing. So that's such an achievement. Coming to you now, Chantal, you've talked about that there are other Burlington moms groups out there on Facebook. What do you think is different about yours, and what and not in a competitive way? They're all good. It's awesome. I'm glad they're out there. What do you think is the why people come to your Facebook page?
I think that ours is just a little bit different in the sense that it's less gossipy and more helpful. So if someone needs some sort, kind of like
Come on.
That's awesome. Less gossip on social media, is it even possible? Good for you.
And that was kind of my goal, is to get away from those sort of pages and turn more to, like, the Burlington Dads. They're doing amazing things out in the community, and we would like to join them on some initiatives in the future as well. But we were just kind of growing through the pandemic. So what I found happened was a lot of women were turning to each other to kind of either vent a bit or, help out with struggles with homeschooling, loss of income, things like that. And hopefully now that we're collaborating with the Burlington Dads in the future, we can put on something a little bit bigger in the community for the moms to be involved in as well.
That's great. And this is something I'd like to hear from both of you on. And it is that whole notion around the use of social media. It can be such a powerful tool for good, to organize people, to spread the news, to do incredible things. And both of you are examples of that with the groups that you're a part of online. It can also be the complete opposite and a total disaster of misinformation and bullying and all kinds of other things. So I know some of the people I've talked to through the Burlington Matters show that are moderators of Facebook groups, they've had to put in certain administrative expectations or controls or something. Have you had to do some of that? And what does that look like? What advice would you give to others that are really trying to create a space, whatever that is, even if it's buy and sell, or if it's, whatever it is, but a space where people feel that they're going to be respected and not beat up on? Maybe to you first, Chantel, and then Renee, I'd love to hear from you on that.
I haven't really put much in place, to be honest. We have our small group rules and kind of like a group motto, but I found that the women coming in are just kind of naturally picking up on the pace of the page. Nobody's standing out and attacking each other. It's kind of we keep politicalness out of it. It's really just more about supporting each other. And I just feel that if you monitor the people that are in the group who are coming in and make sure that they are from Burlington and who they say they are, you can kind of weed out the negativity just by doing that. We also have several members that will report something that seems a little fishy or off, and you can just immediately deal with it at that time, block them or delete the post. But it is work. You have to stay on top of it in the group, like adding members or monitoring posts from time to time. There are options to turn commenting off if needed, things like that. But I haven't had to use any of those options yet. Our group's been very tame, and hopefully be able to traject that forward into something more positive.
That's really important, especially the part about knowing if people are really who they say they are, because, when people get behind a keyboard and you throw anonymity into that, decorum kind of goes out the window sometimes. But I'm really curious in your motto. You said you had a group motto.
It's not like a motto. It's just an introduction to the group page. So just a place to come together for the greater good, to help one another. So rather than focus on buy and sell and advocate.
No, that's great. That's exactly what it is. And you're right. By putting something out there in terms of a descriptive of what the place is supposed to be, you've already set an expectation of, if you're looking for something else, like, a debate club on politics, there's lots of other Facebook, groups probably that can serve you on that one. So that, good for you. That's really helpful advice, I think. Renee, back to you in terms of what you've had to do. You've got 5,000 guys to tame. How does that work?
For the most part, it works okay. Tylenol, I'm going to put a shout out to Tylenol. They've helped us through this over the years. So originally we had, Chantel hit it on the head there. Like, you have to have rules, you have to have regulations, and you have to stick by them too. You'll get people in the group. There's a series of questions that they have to answer before they can enter the group. But, people can fake answers just like anything else. And if you find out eventually they're just in the group to cause trouble. We have we have the basic rules of, no hate, no violence, no racism, politics. We don't allow politics or anything about religion on there typically. But, if it's a generalized thing about, say, an election coming up or whatnot, we'll allow that. But not like a specific, side, because that just aims for problems. But so it used to be just our admin group. And then we decided, well, we're so busy with trying to get these initiatives going and trying to collaborate with everyone, we had to get moderators in. So we have a good team of moderators right now, and their sole purpose is to just monitor the group, make sure everything's going well, make sure everybody's just following the rules, and everything runs smoothly. It's not that bad, but like Chantel says too, it is a lot of work. You have to be available. You have to be willing to put that effort in too. So it's a lot of work.
Absolutely. Well, and being non-partisan, I think is really important, offering political general information. I remember one of the things that you guys all did in the last election campaign is had a Facebook Live, kind of a debate forum, but it was on your Facebook page for all the mayoral candidates, which I thought was terrific. Go ahead.
Yeah, was that was sort of on a whim. One of my
worked out.
Yeah, one of my admins at the time, he's like, hey, you know what we should do? We should call up Rick and Mary Ann and see if we can get them in for a debate and the other candidates. And we just laughed. We said, ha, ha, ha. Okay, we'll just send out a few emails. And we might have had a few drinks that night. I apologize. Thought, oh, this will never work. And every single one of the candidates, yourself included, you showed up.
Yep.
And we were kind of taken by surprise that we have all these mayoral candidates, including the mayor of Burlington, sitting in a living room.
Yep. Remember it well.
I think at one time I actually walked past the camera to go get a beer or something. Like it was just, but it really gave that together, that community, aspect to it, where we could just watch it and you felt like a family, and you could just ask questions, and it wasn't just something you would watch on TV, a debate you would watch on TV. You felt like you could be a part of it. And, despite the fact that it was kind of primitive, it worked out well, I think.
It was, it was a bit of a precursor to set us up for what we're dealing with in the pandemic right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was such an efficient use of technology. You couldn't have gotten all 5,000 of you in a venue anywhere in Burlington, but people could tune in at their own time from their own living room. You're right. The feel of the living room space was actually a nice sort of community component. And I can tell you, and this is what we've talked about just a minute ago, I felt comfortable participating because even though I didn't know, a lot of you at all or very well, because I knew it was going to be moderated and that you took care to be fair to everybody. And it wasn't just a setup job or a joke or something like that. You get asked to go to somebody's living room that you don't know. You don't always know how that's going to turn out.
You brought a backup just in case. We noticed that too with Glenn, and he's like, what, 8'2" or something.
I did. I brought a bodyguard just in case. I didn't need him. I think he was. I think he shared in your scotch at some point. But
yeah,
it was really good. And so you can inspire and bring people together when you provide that safe space, right? That's really what we're talking about, and provide the technology. And I know the Burlington Moms were a key part of that specific event. In helping to spread the word and literally helping with some of the filming. I'm pretty sure it was broadcast at the time on one of the moms' Facebook pages too, so that it had a broader audience. So that collaboration between the moms and the dads groups is, it's been really nice to see. So I'm going to come back to you, Chantal, in terms of, what advice, we've touched on a few things, but what advice would you have to somebody out here watching the show that might, want to start a group, or, I've got some moms that I want to connect with. What advice would you give them?
Just start it. Everyone has access to it. Just open it up, start your page, add people to it, and watch it grow. You just, it's pretty simple to do that in your community. I think that if you have a network to start in your community before you open the page, that can help as well. So if you're involved in certain charities or sporting events or your children's schools, people will know who you are. So when you start something, they say, oh, that's a familiar face. I know her. I'm going to join that group.
That's awesome. And you know what, that's the answer I think at some point I've gotten from every one of the community organizations that we've talked to throughout this series is just do it. It's kind of the Nike model of community organizing. Just start somewhere and you'll figure it out. And, people are smart and they're resilient. And if it, you can see the seeds of goodness in what you're creating really spring forth very quickly, I think, and then it just, that success builds upon itself, right? Mm-hmm. So coming back to you, Renee, in terms of your latest community drive for Christmas, which the mayor's office is helping to promote, but it's your idea, it's your thing. So let's talk to the community about that and how they can help.
Yeah, we're arranging we're in the middle of a toy drive now for the Salvation Army. And it's just like your typical toy drive where we collect toys throughout the neighborhood. If you go to our website, burlingtondads.com, you can see all the locations that you can drop off toys. There's also a few people on there that, if you can't make it or if you can't drop it off yourself, you can contact someone to come pick it up for you. Gift cards also as well, cash donations. And I believe now we have you on board, and another drop-off point will be City Hall.
City Hall and the fire stations, we rope them in, although that's always easy to do because they're always our firefighter friends at City of Burlington are always helping, willing to pitch in. So you can drop it off at the fire hall as well on Fairview, which conveniently located near the mall. If you do any of your shopping there, stop there or stop in at City Hall. So we actually have one of my team members was at the office today. Today's my work at home day, but it was overflowing. It was overflowing. So we emptied that box so more people could put stuff in. But it's really it's so great to see the charity from people in our community, and we're both a wealthy community and a community of people who have needs and who are, who've been just whacked by the pandemic and so many other things in our community, lost their jobs, had their income cut. And so to be able to share the wealth kind of literally with people in our community is really one of the things that makes Burlington so special.
And to tell you the truth, our groups, like Chantel's, and I'm sure she'll agree, we're more of just ways to get the word out there. The good people are out there. The people that want to help, they're there. It's a given, but sometimes they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to go about getting help themselves. And we do that too. We if someone comes to us, like one of the dads needs, help with something, we've had in the past a few dads that they had some mental issues and they needed to go somewhere for help. And, we've been there to talk them off the ledge sometimes. And it's just, we're that carrier, that vehicle that they can use to meet other people and to bring people together. And, you can't get a better community than Burlington for that. Definitely.
That is so inspiring to hear that, and to know that help is there and that people come together for that. I want to come to you, Chantel, and talk a little bit about the impact of these groups on families. And, you're Burlington moms and dads, so you've got kids of different ages. So what is kind of the age and stage of the different moms? Are you all similar in terms of how old your kids are and you connect on that level? And how are you supporting each other through what it means to be a mom? And I'll ask you this too, Renee, a dad during a pandemic. Can't even imagine.
So the ages varies all from newborn to teenage living. So everyone can kind of relate to someone within the group. You have little parenting badges in the group as well. So it can say next to somebody, parent of teens or parent of babies or young children. So you can see who you're speaking with, and if whether or not that you can relate to the stage that they're at in their parenting journey. But as far as when it comes to the group, they'll comment in there or post something or question about like maybe a homeschool learning pod, or they'll get a group together because they're working and they need someone to school their children. So they can post in there and look for teachers who are willing to teach online or help tutor with their kids through the pandemic. Also, I think it was a way for just women to connect and belong part of a group somewhere when we weren't able to go to those mommy play groups. If you were a baby born during the pandemic, you probably missed out on a lot of those prenatal classes or those, early childhood centers where you would go together to play with the children, or the play centers. So I think coming to the group allowed you to connect with other moms where you could meet outside in a park or somewhere safe and kind of create that little community bubble for you, right?
So important. My kids are in their 20s now, but I remember those days. And I had twins. I had a 2-year-old and then twins. So it was like having triplets. And sometimes I just wanted to be like, can you just hold one of them for a bit? I only have 2 arms. But to not have that physical connectivity or able to get out of your house, literally for some of us for so long.
It was a
Go ahead.
challenge to be with your children 24/7. I think for a lot of moms, we weren't meant or supposed to be doing that. And so I think also going online was kind of just a way to give yourself a little bit of separation from,
Absolutely.
the kids from time to time as well. And you could connect with somebody in the group on something.
Absolutely. All right, we're almost out of time, but I'll leave the last word with you, Renee. Any tips for Burlington dads, like literal dad, like the dads
You
in
know
their
what?
daddiness out there?
It's a hard go. I mean, the women in our lives definitely have a hard time with the kids. I mean, it's a big job, but dads go through it too. And through the pandemic, there was a lot of aggravation between being at home with your kids and spouse all at the same time and seeing each other 24 hours a day. Not that they're not great people and everything, but it really, it can grate on your nerves, and
Need a break.
you need a break once in a while. I just wanted to mention really quickly, we are doing a Christmas party at Jersey's on Hedden Road on the 17th. Everybody's welcome, and it's in support of men's mental health. Surprisingly, as a dad, we haven't done that much work because unfortunately there's not a lot of men's mental health in Burlington, which is another thing we're going to take care of and focus on in the new year. So it's on the 17th, and you can get tickets at burlingtondads.com, and all the funds raised. There's going to be a band there. There's going to be auctions, lots of people, lots of food. Everything's going to be fun. And it's going to go to the Good Shepherd in Hamilton.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. We'll make sure that we promote that in the links to your pages. So thank you both so much for being here. Renee Schuster from the Burlington Dads, Chantel Driscoll from the Burlington Moms, and thank you mostly for all of the incredible work that you do in our community to bring people together for the betterment of the community. I love that statement on your Facebook page, Chantel. So thank you. Have a great holiday, and maybe I'll see you on the 17th. I gotta see if I'm in a budget meeting or something first. But have a great, and thanks to all of you for tuning in. And this is another episode of Burlington Matters. Signing off, I'm Marianne Mead Ward, Mayor of Burlington. Have a great day.